Nicholas Lyndhurst's life as well. But does it help? Is that too trite the way to put it? Does it make you realise more, or if you realise more about humanity and its difficulties and challenges, does that make you a better humorist?
I think that to have the perspective of suffering, true suffering, makes us better at making people laugh. I do think that's true. Humor blives our experience. There's an Auden poem, Atlantis, where he talks about the notice how somebody betrays this simple, enormous grief. That's something that we probably all will taste at some point in our lives, but these particular tragedies are probably a bit more difficult to bear. But the humor is our food. It's our fuel, and I'll never quit.
I got to ask you about politics before we finish. You mentioned Roseanne early on, who had a great comeback, but also was a Trump supporter. You were, at least you were a Trump supporter. I'm fascinated to know if you still are.
I am, and I'll let that be the end of it.
That was the end of it. Though I have to say, actually, Kelsey Grammer himself was perfectly happy to go on talking about it. The Paramount Plus PR people less happy when he talked about it at the time. He's really thrilled that he was. Really thrilled. Anyway, they decided. Wow. I should stress that he's
Huh?咩嗰個？你玩 game 啊嗰個？你做緊咩？吓？聽唔到？聽唔到？YouTube video。
Jurgen Klopp described Liverpool's 4-3 win over Fulham as Kane full of beautiful goals, and Celtic remain 8 this year top of the Scottish Premiership after a 3-1 win over St Johnstone. It was a thrilling finish, but England men's cricketers were defeated by 4 wickets by West Indies in the first one-day international in Antigua, and 3 decades after becoming the youngest UK snooker champion at the age of 17, Ronnie O'Sullivan has become the oldest winner of the tournament, taking a record-extended 8 campaigns. Now, Rosberg X Racing won their second Extreme League Championship in the final round of the season in Chile yesterday, and I'm very pleased to say we can speak to the founder and owner of the team, the 2016 Formula One World Champion, Nico Rosberg. Thank you for your time this morning. Extreme League is an electric off-road racing series. That was a second year in 2016 for your team. It wasn't a particularly impressive Extreme League, which I guess is the only team in the terrain. Nico Rossi, thank you very much for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. To finish, Proctor, 215, number 1, I see you well. Anthony Green, number 6, Stanley Cooper.
Thank you. I'm Sutton. He will be jealous about 9 o'clock in time. And we're again this morning. Well, those boxes are still there, counters of guys. Chessboard on one side, backgammon board on the other. Marcus de Soto takes readers around the world in PC games. He talks about games old and new, and joining him to talk about the abiding human passion for wasting time pleasurably are the historians Anthony Dale, James Raycroft, and G.T. Harbour, whose book of whodunit logic puzzle, Myrtle, turned out to be an unexpected publishing hit. Start the week. Serious fun and games. The play begins at second.
Will you be playing as usual?
I will, yes.
Tom, thank you very much for weather covering it. England and Wales, sleet and snow on northern hills. Scotland will have showers into the morning.
It's raining in the
Never wonder.
ground freezes are now operating in every part of the country, with around 170,000 people to move further south to find a safe area. The United Nations says the evacuated area exceeds parts of the southern city of Khartoum. British lawyers could consent to work in court in Rwanda under a new migrant treaty the government hopes to sign with the African nation. Ministers want to revise their plans to send some asylum seekers to Rwanda after their previous proposals were ruled unlawful by the Supreme Court last month. Dr. Secretary Lucy Fraser has told us Clothing is considering amateur BBC licence fee for Rise next year. Said the corporation needed to be realistic about its proposal. The applicant to increase in line with inflation has been frozen for 2 years. Labour leader Keir Starmer will warn there'll be little interest in defence spending if his party wins the next election. In a speech to the Resolution Foundation think tank later, was expected to say ministers will pay huge constraint due to high debt and inflation. Thank you, August 24. The latest plan to send migrants to Rwanda seems to involve British lawyers on December 1st to convince Ireland to work together on commercial settlements. Or, concrete proposals seem to suggest the treaty with Rwanda is coming soon, perhaps in this week. Allowing them to settle the courts here in Rwanda is a safe place and the prospect of Ireland has done time for let us talk to Martin Allen, who is a member of the Voting Rights as well. And that is something morning to you. Martin Allen, first of all, one of the plan to send lawyers to Rwanda. In what way might it work? Might it be fixed? Hello, sorry, I was on the voice system. Well, let's try to fix that. Can you hear me now? I can hear you clearly now. Sorry, okay. Let's try again. So on the limited plan at the moment, before we get to wider, the limited plan is to send business lawyers to Rwanda to make sure that what is happening there is fair. So
it could work, it might work. The difficulty with it, of just doing that without what would be the emergency legislation, is almost certainly a challenge on a similar basis as the previous challenge, and probably forward to many months or years or seasons during which they were engaged in that plan.
right, so you're someone who's in favour of the plan, but still thinks that the sending of British lawyers to Rwanda would not be a game changer.
It would be an immediate victory, and it might solve problems. It might solve the problem if the Supreme Court doesn't make properly precise arrangements for the treaty. But the problem is, almost certainly it cannot as to whether or not it can solve it, that future debates, and we'd be looking at many more months, if not years, for further delays.
presumably the fairness check of I think says that there's challenges would be fair and reasonable. You want it to be challenged.
Well, I mean, just to be clear, the Supreme Court made findings of evidence, and that evidence was very much very.
Is in touch with this kind of legislation be entirely consistent with our constitution's principles. Secondly, the problem has arisen largely because judicial activists violated European Court of Human Rights at Strasbourg. It's not actually the convention itself that's the problem. It's a series of cases that they created. And the Supreme Court applied a test which derives directly from the Strasbourg Court cases. They were not invited to.
I'll just come back on that and then we'll finish. Hang on a second, Martin Howe, and then you have one word.
The Supreme Court decision was based on the factual evidence of the situation in Rwanda, and as a matter of law, it was based not predominantly on the ECHR, but also on the Refugee Convention and various domestic statutes, conservative ones that implement that.
Hang on a second, Martin Howe, that's the point, isn't it, about the Supreme Court judgment? It's not just based on the European Convention, it is based much more widely on international law. We would be getting ourselves into hot water with potential outcomes that at the moment we don't want to think about. Isn't that right?
No, that's not right. The specific test they applied arises directly from Strasbourg Court jurisprudence. And in fact, it was determined by a court rather than was determined by an administrative tribunal which might have better qualifications and expertise than the domestic court. Those arise directly from the Strasbourg case law. They're not in any of the other international institutions cited. They would not present a barrier against
we're out of time, but let's see what the government come up with today when it comes to the second report. There's a small question on the report, and then we'll turn it down to the right ones. Martin Howe, let's see.
Let's take a special plane ready at Edinburgh Airport to carry two very special passengers to China. Candidates being returned there after being given no agreement according to the UK. This is the day they fly. David Field, Chief Executive Officer, who joins us from Edinburgh on the programme last week when I went to see the pandas. Welcome back, David. Good morning. I remember you telling me the arrangements involve crate, lots of people, of course, the long journey ahead. Where have you got to this morning?
Well, I just got back into my office to talk to you as I've watched Jaguar's crate come down the hill and get ready for onto the lorry. So it's totally emotional. Tiam is already sitting in her crate. In her, I say crate, they're first class catering accommodation that's about to go onto the plane. Jaguar and Tiam have had their lovely breakfast this morning and all going smoothly so far.
Do we know how, we must know something from their journey here and others, like how pandas deal with air travel?
Oh, well, to be honest, they will sleep. They will have some bamboo, they will sleep, they're in a very comfortable, sort of warm, low-level sort of light surroundings, and they're just going to sleep most of the time. As we all do in first class.
Sleep naturally or sedated for the journey?
Oh, no, never sedate an animal on any travel. We need to make sure that we keep an eye on the boat and make sure that we can just check them, but they will just be sleeping. Waking up for the odd bit of bamboo, but sleeping most of the way. They travel here really well.
The crates, I remember you saying that the crates had been in their enclosures for quite a long time, so they got used to them. But didn't they have to be woken up, especially early in the morning, to make sure that they made their play? Whereas you like to think that it's not going anywhere without them, is it?
I think you're quite right. But actually, they were awake this morning. We've been, the past couple of days, we've been coming in early as well, so they got slightly used to us a little bit earlier breakfast. And I believe Jaguar has got it. I know Jaguar is already in his crate this morning, so waiting for breakfast when he got there.
What's the way of getting them into the crate? Is it food related?
To be honest, it's about making them comfortable and making them part of their sleep, just as we've done over the past few days. Feeding them booze and training them and getting them used to the travel and the travelling crates. It's all about gradual and habituation and making them feel comfortable and making them have a choice. So they're just coming in, and that's unemployment office because it's the only option I've had. And they said they're unemployable, so they gave me a pension, but unfortunately I haven't got a sign on. The week Colin died, I had a letter telling me to get a job. And that was the attitude of the state at that time.
And the attitude of the state now, and indeed of the government now, they say they're working as fast as they can. They told us, I mean, to talk to the minister, Mrs. Fraser, earlier in the programme, and she said that the full report into this from the public inquiry comes out next year. That is the right time to work out full compensation.
No, there's no need to wait a year. So Brian has said that compensation is due. The Sir Robert Francis's report into the compensation framework hasn't even been published yet, so nobody knows what's in that. That was supposed to be published over a year ago. All we're getting from ministers is we're working at pace. Every time they ask a question, we're working at pace. We're waiting for the final report. It's not good enough.
What do you say to MPs, particularly actually conservative MPs, who are thinking, you might not want to rebel against the government, but you do feel more sympathy for
I'd say, look at my son's grave and it's straight to what he said. You know, this was totally unavoidable. They knew what age before Colin was even born, yet they still managed to give him AIDS and hepatitis.
And when you say totally, you mean totally avoidable? Because that's the
Well,
point.
it was totally avoidable. So I believe that Colin was deliberately affected to test their infectivity. They work hand in hand with the pharmaceutical companies. So I believe Colin was a pup alongside other patients. They were told not to treat new haemophiliac or children with American blood products, yet they went ahead and done it anyway.
Does the money matter to you now? Because there are people who have absolutely desperate personal circumstances throughout their lives as a result of this, aren't there? And plenty more who have died getting no compensation at all. What's the importance of the money?
There's recognition for what they did to him. I know there's not going to be any criminal charges because it's the old boys club. They'll cover each other's backs and drag it out until they've had their luxury lives, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, this recognition of what they did to Colin, compensation, yes, it'll maybe there'll be security for my other children because they lived through that as well as I did, and they asked was suffering from it.
Colin Smith, thank you so much for talking to us this morning about your son, Colin, also about what's happening today, and we would expect that vote in the Commons is coming on, and many put down by their vote is coming close. And we turn to the world of film, and particularly of Christopher Nolan, because Christopher Nolan is recognised today, the British Film Institute is going to celebrate the British film director for his highest honour, thereby fellowship for those that recognise Nolan's extraordinary achievements, enormous contribution to cinema, the world's most successful intellectual film director, or at least one of them. Isabel Stevens is on the line, who's the managing editor for BFI Sight and Sound magazine, and Lillian Falk as well, film and culture writer. Good morning to you both. Isabel Stevens first of all, why the award?
Hello, thank you. It's very, very good to be here. We've reached the grand final, Reign of Britain 2022. 4 months of beats and semi-finals have led to this moment when our 4 survivors are about to find out which of them will be the 70th BBC Reign of Britain since the idea for the quiz was conceived by John B. Reid, the exile from Berlin in the early 1950s. Let's meet our finalists today. Hello, I'm Dan Adler. I'm a computer channel from France in Surrey.
Hello, I'm Eleanor Ayres. I'm a solicitor, originally from Yorkshire, and I now live in Cambridge.
Hello, I'm Colin Kidd, county from Bushy in Oxford.
Now, we'll start with Melissa from this time.
There can only be one winner, but it doesn't mean saying that you're all winners multiple times over by having got this far in a very difficult season. The warmest congratulations before we even get started.
There are no variations in the rules, just one final.
You're happy enough, and not going to have to explain things to you.
So so we'll lose no time in getting the contest underway, and the first round starts with before Liz Truss, which 19th century UK Prime Minister previously held the record for shortest term? George Penn. Yes, he died of tuberculosis in 1847 after serving 119 days on the Truss. Operational since 2022, what is known for short astronomical science as the JWST? It's the James Webb Space Telescope, floating on the dark side of the moon. Which actor played Colonel Tom Harper in the 2022 film biopic Elvis? Tom Hanks. Yes. In ballet, what name is given to a position in which the dancer stands on one leg, the other raised behind the body, bent at an angle of 90 degrees. The position was derived by Carlo Versus from the statue of Mercury. That one looked arabesque. George Stratton. It's called attitude. Your question. Outlying territories of which island country? Adrian Rodriguez Island, Caragos Shoals, and the Agarega Islands.
Mauritius.
Mauritius, yes. The name of which dinosaur translates from the Latin mores as quick feet.
Velociraptor.
Yes. In April 2022, which Royal Shakespeare Company production, based upon a 1988 Japanese animated film, broke the Barbican's record for most tickets sold in a single day?
My name is Tora.
Yes. Hayao Miyazaki. The fictional Isle of Berg is the main location in which series of best-selling children's novels of the 21st century?
How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes. Who composed the anthem Make a Joyful Noise for the coronation service of King Charles III?
James Webb.
George Stratton.
Harrison Douglas.
No, it was Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber. Colin Pitt's question. From 1972 to 1977, the Ideal Toy Company claimed to have sold over $125 million worth of toys and merchandise based on which American motorcycle stunt performer? Yes. What was the middle name of the polar explorer Robert F. Scott, born in 1868? Yes. Which Hindu deity is known as the preserver? Vishnu. It is Vishnu. That's the name of Sanskrit, all-pervasive. At the last count, and to the nearest million, how many calls per hour were made from Britain's remaining public fund offices? 1 million. Else?
3 million.
George Stratton. 5 million is the right answer. Well done. Not nearly as many as once was for other phrases, and yet there are times when glad to find a still usable phone book. George Stratton's turn. David Dinkins became the first black mayor of which city in 1990?
New York City.
New York City. He died in 2020. In 2022, the writer Shehan Karunatilak won the Booker Prize for his second novel, The Seven Moods of
Mali Almeida.
Well, he became the second writer of Sri Lankan origin to win the award after Michael Ondati, who was born there but has lived in Canada since he was 14. In Russian literature, how are Dmitry, Ivan, Alyosha, and Smerdyakov collectively known?
The Brothers Karamazov.
Yes, yes. In physics, proves law states that the volume of a given mass of gas at constant temperature is directly proportional to the absolute thermodynamic temperature. Oil slip. Colin Kidd. Charles Law. Charles Law, yes. Accepted David Sachs Law. Charles Law it is. And that's the end of the first round, with a lot of points having been scored. And they've been scored in an amazingly even fashion because everybody has 4. Dan Harper coming next, and the next round begins with music. 2023 is the 25th anniversary of the release of a charity album called Stranger Than Fiction, which showcases the vocal talents of various writers. It includes this duet between an English writer and aristocrat and an American memoirist, poet, and civil rights activist. Here they put their spin on Right Said Fred, a song popularized by Bernard Cribbins. Tony Hawkins.
Right said Fred, put them together, 1 each end and steady as they go. Tried to shift it, couldn't even lift it. We was getting nowhere, and so we had enough.
I don't even know where to start.
I'm not so sure that they did either, but they got there. Anybody gonna have a guess at this? George Stratton.
John Lewis, and the American, and particularly Devonshire the aristocrat.
Lovely picture, but no. Eleanor Ayres?
Julian Fellows and John Lewis.
Nope. Yes, Colin Kidd.
John Lewis and Arthur Askey.
No, I'm going to tell you, and I can scarcely believe this myself, it was Jessica Mitford and Maya Angelou. The two were close friends for 3 decades, but not close friends with Bernard Cribbins. Anyway, that was it, and I've never heard that before. Helen Ayres, in the book of Genesis, which tall structure was built in the land of Shinar after the flood?
The Tower of Babel.
Yes. Which novel am I describing? Published in 1936, it was the topsy door that the then Prince of Wales married Camilla Parker Bowles. Rafa Nadal won his first French Open, and David Cameron replaced Michael Howard as leader of the Conservative Party.
2005.
Is the right answer. Well done. That's well remembered. In November 1943, the inhabitants of a village in Dorset were told that they were required to leave their homes within 28 days, as the area was too used for military training. The villagers left, believing they would one day be able to return, but this never happened. The village, which remains deserted, is today known as Dorset's Ghost Village. What is the name of this village?
Fairfield.
It's called Tiny, and a note on the church door read, "Please keep the church and house in good care. We have given up our homes when many of us lived for generations now in the war. We shall return one day. Sad. Colin Kidd, we're familiar with Bollywood as the word for the Indian movie industry, Hollywood of course, but which country's film industry is referred to by the term Nollywood?
Nigeria.
Yes.
Nigeria.
The 2023 Tour de France started in which city?
Bilbao.
Yes, it did. There are only 2 letters that don't appear anywhere on the periodic table. Can you name either of them?
J.
J is one, yes, or Q. For a time, element 114 had the placeholder name Unum Quadium, which did have a Q in its symbol, but it's been officially named Flerovium since 2012. In 1947, the artist Martin Langsdorff, the wife of the nuclear physicist Alexander Langsdorff, designed which ominous symbolic object for the cover of the journal Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists? The atom bomb? January. Originally set at 7 minutes to midnight in 1947, the clock swung back to 17 minutes in 1991. And as of this year, a somewhat chilling 97 minutes. George Frederick Paul Muir was awarded the 1948 Nobel Prize in Medicine for his discovery of which chemical first thought to have positive benefits but later proved quite the reverse.
叮當嘟嘟嘟嘟嘟，噠噠噠噠噠噠噠。
Which ancient World Heritage Site that's now Rome is the location of the ruins of the Abaddon Palace, Gate of All Nations, and the Wall under the Wall. So listen,
你入唔入去陣間哥哥？
which King Arthur
嚇？
said would be
你入唔入去 Aldi 嗰度買 pizza 同埋買 jam 啊？ 嚇？入去啊？嚇？你入唔入去啊？問你一 no，OK。
What was the name given to the protests that took place in West Wales between 1838 and 44, where farm workers disguised in women's clothes attacked and destroyed toilets? Rebecca Riots. Yes. The song When Icicles Hang by the Wall appears in Lynch's Shakespeare film. Richard's Tale. Let's take this next. Right. Yes. You might indeed expect the British to go. But then at first, 140 years ago this year, a book for children was published by an Italian author, Carlo Vincenti, under the pen name Carlo Collodi, which he took from the Tuscan town in which he spent his childhood. In Islamic architecture, each part of a mosque derives its name from an Arabic word meaning
Pikachu.
and before Tokyo, assuming that this is something related to the sextant.
Pika Pika Pikachu.
In the FA Cup final, what was first done by Bert Turner in 1946, then again by Tommy Hutchison in 1980, and again by Gareth
Pika
Mabbott.
Pika Pikachu. Pika Pika Pikachu. Pika Pika Pikachu. Pika Pika Pikachu.
Scored an own goal and a goal for his own team. Scoring, in other words, for both teams. For both. It's a goal that is, that's the right answer.
哥哥
Turn to music, Colin. You
Pika
get to hear a
Pika.
punchy little number
Pika
with
Pika
Preston DeFolk.
Pikachu.
That rendition of Stack's soul classic Knock on Wood was by a boxer who won a gold medal at the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. He was
Pika
undisputed
Pika,
world heavyweight
Pikachu.
champion from 1970 to 73.
Pikachu, Pikachu,
His version
Pikachu.
band was called the Knockouts. Can you name him?
Joe Frazier.
It was Smoking Joe Frazier and the Knockouts. What name is given to the vocal technique, a type of ornamentation used in religious singing for centuries that's made a noticeable comeback in modern pop music, particularly that of Latin America?
Yodeling.
Latin, tremolo, Elena, torture, Donada, descant? No, it's melisma, the singing of a single
Melisma.
syllable while moving through a long
Melisma.
series of notes. We heard in a range of
Melisma.
music from Handel to Beyonce. George
Beyonce.
Gershwin now in 2023, which country
Beyonce.
became the 31st member of NATO?
NATO.
Finland. Yes.
NATO.
Popular support for joining NATO dramatically increased in the aftermath of Russia's
Aftermath.
invasion of Ukraine. A person suffering from xenophobia, O-E-N-O-phobia, has a fear of or aversion to what? Why? What is this? In China, it's called the Silver River. In the Kalahari Desert, it's known as the backbone of the night. And to the Estonians and Finns, it's the pathway of the birds. Lightning?
Lightning.
Another?
Milky Way. Lightning. Nope. It's not
And
lightning.
that brings us to the end of the 2023 final of Reign of Britain. And these are the final scores. George Strachey 8 points, Colin Kidd 11 points, Eleanor Ayres 11 points, Dan Adler 15.
Okay.
It's another way of seeing food, the world, flavour, taste, texture.
This is great because with the cuisine as broad and complex as Chinese cuisine, kind of like recipe book alone often isn't enough. You need all the context. You're basically going to become an expert there, and every time you go on a party, it's going to be
I hope so. I'll be inviting you around.
哥哥睇歌，哥哥。嚇？
The book that's got me cooking is The Secret of Cooking by B. Wilson, a recipe
Sorry,
for
Uncle.
an easier life in the kitchen.
要唔要過去睇下？
Cookbook is I like
No?
the combination
Yes?
of memoir and
要唔要過去睇下哥哥？
integration of food
Coco?
and life. And
要唔要過去睇下？
this is the ultimate
梗係唔使啊。
book like that for me.
嚇？
As she says,
要唔要過去睇啊
from personal experience.
No?
My own relationship
Okay.
with cooking changed suddenly about a year into this project. In June 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, my husband of 23 years, the father of my 3 children, left me for another woman. So there's something very painful about this. And this is in no way a comparison, but I've been going through just difficult things, difficult family things. And I came home from a long day recording, and before I lay on the sofa, I saw that this book had arrived. I started to leaf through this, and she has this recipe for Raymond's butter poached carrots. Carrots and fruit. That day, she got me down into the kitchen, and I sat down at the table by myself, and I thought, this is so good, and I feel a different woman from the one who came in and collapsed.
電話俾我。
One farmer said intruders had struck his herd twice. Robert Jenkins
Why?
said he couldn't understand why anyone would do it.
Obviously, we've lost our animal.
喂
We're talking thousands. It's not just
Why?
that, it's our time as well, because each time we've had an
冇聲嘅
incident, we've been
Why?
dealing with it all day. There's not doing
做咩啊
any work. We've had vet bills, thousands.
我
It's looking-
我喺個車度啊！依家
We have been covered by insurance.
The music streaming company Spotify is to
Okay.
around 1,500 jobs worldwide, almost a fifth of its workforce.
佢
Prices and
我依家
terms leads to
拎住架電話嚟講啊！我哥哥啱啱遞俾我啊！依家
Number of posts affected in the UK
我揸緊車啊！
closed. In the city, the 100 sharing
冇嘢啊嘛
ended the day down 16 points
Oh, okay,
at
bye-bye.
7,513. On Wall Street a short time ago, the Dow Jones was down 104 points at 36,142. On the currency markets, the pound is trading at $1.26.2. Against the euro, sterling is at €1.16.7. That makes the euro worth 85.7 pence. 2 reindeer that escaped from a Christmas attraction in Suffolk
Reindeer?
yesterday have been recaptured. The animals became loose and disrupted traffic on the dual carriageway near Barton Mills. The operation was paused overnight
Hva
and
kalles
it took
det?
their only
Jeg mener-
several hours to coax them back this afternoon, using food and another reindeer. The UK's only giant pandas are on a flight back to China. Jiang and Yang Guan spent 12 years on an extended loan to Edinburgh Zoo, but despite occasional rumours of a pregnancy, they failed to produce a cub. Scotland correspondent Alexander Mackenzie has been following their story.
Southern cargo plane. They were transported in specially built metal crates, ready for the 13-hour flight to Chengdu. Edinburgh Zoo was home to Yangguan and Shenzhen for more than a decade. Staff prepared them for their journey home, but admit their departure has been emotional. Michael Livingston, who's a senior animal keeper, has looked after the pair since their arrival.
Quite a strong bond with them, so yeah, so I think it's going to be a bit of a sad day for us. I feel very lucky to be able to take them back, so I get a few extra days, I get to see them settle in and things like that, so I can report back to how they're getting on and things like that when they arrive.
There were 8 attempts at artificial insemination, but the pandas failed to produce a much hoped for cub. As they head home, some campaigners have expressed concern for the animals undertaking such a long flight. But Stephanie Motta from the Royal Zoological Society said they would be closely monitored.
During the flight, I'm not expecting to have major challenges. Yangguan and Shenzhen are healthy, so my plan is to feed them plenty of bamboo throughout the flight. I will monitor them very closely, of course, and they will also have one of their favorite keepers with them, so they should be happy.
When the flight is halfway between Scotland and China, the keys to the crates containing the pandas will be handed over. This will formally end their time in Scotland.
The main news again. The government has announced measures to cut legal migration to the UK by stopping care home staff bringing dependents with them and raising the minimum salary required for skilled workers. The Home Secretary James Cleverly said the plans would lead to a reduction in immigration of 300,000 a year, the largest on record. He told MPs enough is enough. With his assessment, here's our political editor, Chris Mason.
On migration policy, the government confronts a transparent, significant and emotionally charged failure against its own promises and targets. That's why this week their focus is on trying to do something about it. As soon as tomorrow, it's likely the focus will be on illegal immigration. The government reported aim of sending migrants to Rwanda. Today, it was legal migration. Net migration, the difference between the number of people coming to live in the UK and those leaving, has ballooned at just the point after Brexit that the government at Westminster holds all the levers to control it. That is an accountability pinch point if ever you saw one. Hence the anguish of many Conservative MPs attempting to reconcile a number treble the one they promised to cut 4 years ago. That is the context for today's plan, which at its heart has the claim that around 300,000 people who were eligible to come to the UK last year would not be able to in future. But what of the trade-offs, the consequences of care homes and universities, for instance? And what of the political implications, given it could be after the general election before these policies, if retained, make any significant difference to the numbers? The ministers, this is about showing they get it, that plenty want to see the numbers shrivel. Big questions, will they? And when?
Chris Mason, our political editor. BBC News.
BBC News. Caroline Nichols. This is BBC Radio 4 with this University new entries, Uxbridge English Dictionary shortly, and some entertaining rounds of sound charades. No, I'm sorry, I haven't looked at Peter Evans and Richard Coles. Two new players this week. First, Dr. Phil Hammond will see us tomorrow afternoon.
Doctor on BBC Radio 4. Who are the surgeons saving your life in an emergency? Who are the GPs making sense of your stories and symptoms? Who are the people on the front line of medicine today?
I felt this real inner sense that I was here to do the thing I was put on this earth to do.
Why did they choose to take on the burden? What have they sacrificed? And what are the rewards?
There's something incredible about caring for producers because they get better very quickly with a little bit of love.
Doctor with me, Dr. Phil Hammond, Tuesday afternoons at 3:30 on Radio 4 and BBC Sounds.
And now the winner of the 2023 Voice of the Listener and Viewer Award for Best Audio Comedy. We present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games.
At the piano is Colin Sell, and your chairman is Jack Dean. I'm sorry I haven't a clue. You join us today on a visit to historic Leicester, which each year sees armies of international tourists come to visit its famous square in London. Leicester is the birthplace of the father of the package holiday, Thomas Cook. The first ever package holiday makers travelled from Leicester to Loughborough in 1841. And if you're curious to know what it would have been like to visit 19th century Loughborough, visit Loughborough, visit the owner's box, and even gain access to the Leicester City dressing room, where they're presented with a team strip, pair of boots, and a game. Let's meet the teams. On my right, we've got the Cooper Evans and Tony Hawks. And on my left, Andy Hamilton and the Reverend Richard Collins. And taking her place at the desk next to me to enjoy an evening of scoring, please welcome the ever delightful Samantha. I will start this week with some new additions to the Uxbridge English Dictionary. A good dictionary is essential for learning the correct use of similar terms. For example, many people don't know the subtle difference between the words lopsidedness and asymmetry. Well, lopsidedness refers to the condition of being disproportionately heavy on one side, whereas asymmetry is where Scotsmen are buried. But the meanings of words are constantly changing, so your suggestions, please, of any new definitions you may have spotted recently. Pippa, you can start.
Consensual. Someone who gives the impression of being sexy, but isn't.
Tony. Right. What they stand on in Northern Ireland. Richard.
Minster, Catholic clergy.
Andy.
Prince Harry's unflattering nickname for his dad.
Dodderill, nighttime visitor to car park in North Wales.
Varlet, a comparatively short VAR review, i.e. under 8 minutes.
Argon, when a pirate's lost his voice.
Ineffable. Out of one's league.
Evensong, 2468 motorway.
Tapioca, a disappointingly average kind of dancing.
Curled, freezing in Newcastle.
Elongate, the Tesla recall scandal.
Shrub, quiet carpet.
Laboratory, speeches by Gunbox.
Net zero. Graph day official.
Drover, a retired driver.
Unkempt. An unsatisfactory Spandau ballet review.
Modular, a vampire on a scooter.
Saxophones, proceeds of robbery from Apple Store.
Unspectacular, a vampire who can't find his glasses.
Cop, go away.
Newless,
well-known songs in the round called pickup song. Inspiration for songs come from many things. For example, it was the sight of an April sunrise after a long, cold English winter which inspired George Harrison to write Here Comes the Sun. It was witnessing the birth of his daughter that prompted Stevie Wonder to compose Isn't She Lovely? And it was a particularly severe case of non-specific urethritis that inspired the Kings of Leon song Your Sex is on Fire. So this round, Samantha will spin the discs and each of you teams will sing along to your records until Samantha turns the music down. If on its return you're within a gnat's crotchet of the original, I'll be awarding points. And points mean a frankly sickening display of mass intellectual discipline. What do points mean? Yes, and this week's prize, the perfect postprandial treat for the sweet-toothed furrier, is this after-eight mink. Okay. Richard Coles, you're to start, please, and I'd like you to accompany Leicester band Shwaddy Waddy singing Under the Moon of Love. Let's go for a little walk under the moon of love. Let's sit down and talk under the moon of love. I want to tell you that I love you, and I want you to be my girl. Little darling, let's walk, let's talk under the moon of love. You look so lovely. Andy Hamilton, I'd like you to accompany Leicester boy Engelbert Humperdinck singing Please Release Me. Please release me, let go, for I don't love you anymore. To waste our lives would be a sin. So release me and let me love again. I have found a new love here, and I will always want her near. But it's your turn, Fifth Reverence, you accompany Donna Summer singing I Feel Love.
That's Mysterious Barricades by Dupont. Tell me about taking a piece like that, that was 100% not written for guitar, and then the process of turning it into a piece that does work for guitar. Say, for example, this piece is originally played on harpsichord, and the sound is very black, and it's key that was from bird's feather. So in a way, it's similar to guitar, but it's got broken. But the sound of the harpsichord is much more bright. So when I was working
started working with Chinese to conduct the kind of conduction festival. Actually, I was so encouraged because we were able to train our forces and our values to turn it into one unit. It had really exceeded my expectations because in the end, the repertoire changed my pace in the most natural, unique way, but my sound and everything I'm about to stay the same. You were able to keep your voice as a whole. Exactly. And playing an instrument is really always about trying to find your own unique voice, and in this case, it was the unique voice of guitar and vocals. It's brilliant. Wow. You came famously to the UK in 1999 to study at the Royal Academy, and by video. What was it like coming from Montenegro and coming here and such a totally change of life? Well, it was definitely a bit like landing on Mars. Because Montenegro, like 2000 when I started my studies at the Royal Academy, it's very different from language or Turkish language. At the time when I was recording 40% of the Academy for no, had to grow up with that. But what that also created was this need to explore music as a kind
and Newark was the homework for Morocco in a 6-day UK tour in France. Finally, tonight, we heard this weekend that the legendary photographer Peter Owen she took defining pictures of Marilyn Monroe, Nixon and Khrushchev, and famously Jackie Kennedy at her husband their first funeral. Here he is talking to Ryan Winter on Radio 3's Magnet in Chicago.
Question number one. How you arrived to a good picture that is honest and that is straightforward. I don't think it's important for one to follow that route.
Visa between Johannesburg and Pretoria, near where we first met Cynthia and
I would
Caleb.
prefer.
We knew some
Really?
of the family were still living here.
So we're calling her, yeah? Okay, get directions. Okay.
We're looking for Cynthia's daughter Doris in a place that's among the worst in South Africa for violent crime, including murder and rape. A poll of residents found more than 80% regarded it as a very dangerous place. Fortunately, it's not too long before we spot Doris, whom I first met when she was a young teenager.
How are you?
How are you?
Doris leads us across a patch of waste ground over scraps of plastic and sparkling clouds. Two men lie against a wall, smoking absurd. Then down along a street of teeth, walk straight to Township House, until we reach a square building. A sign in the left says, "Creative Party Place."
My shop. My shop. I'm trying.
It's here we get our first glimpse of her mother since. She became diabetes and now lives in a quieter rural area. In order to have time to visit and care for her mum later, Doris left her 9-to-5 job at her local mall and set up her own shop selling party goods. In her life, child of first to get the job,
That. Yes. Tap. Tap. Yes. Tap. Come on. Skippity. Skippity dum. Yes.
We used to stay there by force, remember? That's what happened. So when they came, I was trying to ask.
Skippity bum. Yes. Skippity bum. Yee.
I was shocked. Still,
Right, just
Doris's children went to school in the 30s, but the bigger picture in Tembisa isn't so comforting. More than 30% of the population is unemployed. Power cuts, so-called load shedding, disrupt business and personal lives every day. The essential infrastructure allowed to run down or sabotaged, by one estimate losing around £47 million a month. The failure of services would come back again and again in conversations on our journey.
you know, life in South Africa, when I look at life, it's a war. Life
your house and your neighbor's house looks so neat and so beautiful and so beautiful. But just a broken outside the clinic, lots of squalor and rubbish and having sewage on the road. Just tell us what it is to live here. What are the problems here?
Yeah, the electricity. 2 years I live in electricity. 2 years I was really expensive. I stopped there. I was using my public stuff. And then I bought that light.
Solar panel.
Yes.
Why did you have electricity?
Because they say that if you don't like about it,
Yeah. Oh, because there are people who steal
electricity from them.
so they
stop the girl coming, then you must catch this for an African that would cover the electricity. Decent people like that.
Yes, yes. I don't know.
Little big figures. But all the time, it's taking away the money from the government. So that you have no services or very poor services. There are big protests for good services.
Look at our streets. Congo, there is a gravel conflict. There's no taste. This place has been here for a long time. No taste. There's no street lights. I'm telling you, this place is not a nice place to live. It's not. To live like this.
Doris works hard to help support her own children and her extended family. Amid the multiple challenges of life in Tunisia, there's still a powerful emphasis on the bonds of family, a safe harbour by the state of Spain. I remember Amos as a youngster. Now he's in his early 40s, helping his sister Doris with her new shop. The story of his life journey is like that of so many young black South Africans, among whom the unemployment rate is now over 60%. Do you have family?
Oh, I used to have a family, but they're going away. There's no, I mean, a lack of family, so they left me to go to Mpumalanga.
Okay, so that's out east.
Yeah. So, and that's where it was at the who are working and I also got 2 children. Some what I get to get is a happy friend. Very nice for them to come to see this morning.
You sell them. And do you ever get to see them?
It's been 1 year since I see them, because you need to get there.
And what about you? How else?
The other one is 16, when I was 17. That's still at school. Yeah, it's still.
Do you think that they'll be able to?
Yeah, just want to try more something. I would like to do the kind of thing that not become like me. If you might think but I'm cool. So I don't want to I want to go forward like we have all these great, bright children there.
30 years ago, the ANC was unchallenged here. It's very different now, and that's because of corruption, massive issue on the doorsteps, failure to deliver services, failure to deliver employment. But the most radical voice now is that of the
不過你今晚真係要早啲瞓。
and they've come on with a very
哥哥，
populist agenda.
哥哥，你今晚要早啲瞓啊！
Control of the economy. Anyway,
我同你講過好多次啊，你唔夠瞓呢個 brain 啊好多垃圾清唔到咧，跟住你嗰啲 brain cell 會開始死㗎啦，哥哥知唔知啊？你 brain cell 死佢唔會 regenerate 㗎，知唔知啊？
but this encounter
你唔瞓覺咧，佢腦裏面好多垃圾清唔到啊，
no radical
跟住 brain cell 會開始死啊，
of personal Christ.
你唔會 regenerate 㗎個 brain cell， 你死一個 brain cell 就冇一個啦。
Economic freedom in our life.